Okay, how fast can we put together a mirror card? And will using some of the wood grained style of paper look good in a mirror card, a reflection card type of format? Let's see. All right, so stays on ink on the wood grain paper. And this area and up is going to be land, and anything in the reflective area is going to be water, or represent like a little pond or something like that. Okay, I'm just using the top portion of the sedge cluster here for that top portion. Remember that area is supposed to be on land. Okay, now let's use this bottom portion here for the area that is to be in the water section. Okay, does that make sense? Now you can do it without this area right here. I think it would look good just having the grass reflected in that area, but I think this looks a little bit more complete like this. Okay, so what this is going to look like is this right here. Okay, look at those reflections in that water like that. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is this area right here, if I was just doing a card, this area would be a little bit farther away from the water, but I want this to reflect down in the water really well. So I'm stamping this down a little bit lower, okay? The area closer to the reflected area reflects stronger. Okay, I just re-inked my Stays On pad as well. Large stamps get a good amount of leverage going. I stand up to give my impressions. This is the cabin large, and it has a lot of surface area to it. I thought it would look really cool because, you know, this is a wood grain paper, and of course this cabin represents, you know, like a wooden cabin, real natural looking. You can see the planks of wood on this house, or cabin. All right. Now we have this little area out here. I was going to put, I don't know, I was thinking about a fence. I'm not sure. I think it would look pretty cool in there. Let's do this. Let's add a little bit more of a little sedge filler in the background like this. Okay. And let's go for a little bit of this fence in here. I think that'll look pretty good in the reflected in the water, but we'll see. Okay, it's a little bit of an opening. Now for my water area, I'm going to go with my trusted Tiny Rocks stamp here. It's really easy to slip when making your impressions on a very shiny, non-porous foil. If this one does slip a little bit, it's not really any big deal because it's kind of just a bunch of texture here. I'm going to put some of this down here in my water as well, down low. So I'm going a little bit high next to that bank of water. And down here, this is going to represent an area on the other side of this little pond. Okay, let's add in some cattails. always used to like taking cattails as a kid, and we would kind of break them up and have those little seeds floating through the air. It was always fun. Okay, this is going to be cattails and reeds down here. I'm going to change the height of this a little bit for variation. That's what this looks like right here. And let's go for some reeds. Sometimes a little bit of a combination looks good, so you don't have too many of the cattail, whatever, heads, I guess. Making this reasonably dense right on the edges of the corners, bottom left and right corner with a piece, so that it looks like that down there. Kind of frames off the scene really nicely down below. Okay, let me take a look and see what this is looking like here. Look at that. Pretty cool looking, huh? Now I have this little area up here, and this area up here is wondering about maybe a little word stamp or something like that might be kind of nice. I can have some overhanging tree branch up left and right. I guess that would look okay. Let's go for that. I don't want to put too much in there because I don't want to have anything obscuring my reflection down below. But this will kind of frame things off nicely, I believe. So we'll take my leaves here. We'll go pretty much left and right corner, top corner, just as I had done my left and right bottom corner with the reeds and cattails. So I'm not using the whole stamp, I'm just kind of going for the corners here. So just depends on how much space you have. So that's a kind of a faster impression, so it's much lighter. Let's put a darker one right in front of it. But it can look pretty cool having a little bit of that depth with a darker and lighter one like that. Okay. I think I'll go for maybe some little trees out this way, or some other types of subject matter. I'm going to see if I could find my smaller version of this lady writer, and I think she would look pretty good right there. Let's take a look and see what this rider looks like in the reflection. Oh, it's nice and dramatic, huh? Might be able to kind of put something else right here. A couple trees maybe in the background. How about the maple pear? But I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to mask this off like this so the maple pear will be kind of behind the sloping grass there, something like that. We're going to keep this pretty simple here as far as our composition goes up top, especially, and below, because on these reflection cards, what you want is to have a clear, reasonably crisp, contrasting reflection down below, and that kind of assists in the readability of that image up top down below in that reflected area. So check that out like that. So I mean, okay, so we're just at like the 10-minute mark on this card. That's pretty fast. Now I need to use my tape runner or something like that and tape this right up here. bottom part gets taped in here. And I'd probably just do something simple like a little quote stamp right up here, something like that, in light ink. Or you can use the, you know, this type of wood grain paper. I did it on one of my cards somewhere around here. One of my reflection cards. Like this, okay, so it has a little bit of that wood grained paper around, you know, another piece of paper. This isn't like a little cutout. I put the, you know, black piece of paper on top of this one just for ease, like that. Not a wood grain paper, but kind of the vintage paper on the inside. All right, so here's the thing though, okay? I think this is looking really good just as is. But we can strengthen things like shadow forms and, I don't know, just a little bit of volume in here and depth in this top portion, okay? So I like to add in a little bit more tone right around where the surface meets water, okay? So I'll show you what I'll do. Let's just make this really super easy and quick. And the sedge cluster has this darker area right down here, and you can see where it's lighter on the tops of the tufts, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm not just going to color this in solid. We're not coloring this in just solid like that, but put a little bit of tone right down here and leave this area up top a little bit lighter, okay? So with a really light touch here, you know, just lay down a little bit of tone, just a little bit at a time, like this. It's just touching it like that, okay? And you're just working on your shadows really kind of slowly and methodically. See, it's a little bit darker down there now, right? And you see this rooftop right here. See how it's lighter than the sides? But let's kind of push that a little bit by making the sides a little bit darker. And now the rooftop will stand out a little bit more. Okay. Maybe put a little bit of shadow at the base of the cabin. Kind of sets the cabin in the grasses a little bit stronger. It gives it visual weight. Give this horseback rider a little bit of shadow forms underneath them like that. This tree. A little bit more shade. Think about like so. Now I could kind of give this cabin some interior illumination by coloring out the windows, and it might look a little bit more dramatic, but you know, I think this is looking pretty decent as is as well. So kind of up to you. I'm purposely trying to keep this, you know, a much, I don't know, kind of faster scene here. Now let's put a little bit of reeds here on the edges, okay? As we transition into that water. See, changing my angle between impressions a little bit. And we'll go over here. Okay, let's take a look. See what those little tweaks did here. I think it creates a little bit of a stronger transition. See how this is darker down here now? As it transitions into that water. Like that. Okay, oops. Here we go. Maybe like so. Let me get this taped down. I'll do that off camera. A little bit of tape right here in the corners and right around the perimeter. One across like that. Should get it taped down nicely, and I'll figure out something out for the front of the card as well. Same low quote on this one as my last piece, but in reverse. I think this one would have looked really good in gold ink. I didn't want to take the time to do that. I need to re-ink my gold pad, and if I'm not going to use it for a while, that gold ink tends to dry up pretty fast on me. So let's just go with white here. All right, so adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Let's take a look right here. Get that nice parallax going. That. Oops. I made a really big boo-boo here. Look what I did. I put my cattails down there. All right, let's reverse this. Here, I'll record this. I just laid this tape down recently, so it's not, you know, absolutely locked down, unable to come up. I was thinking, where are my reflections of my cattails? Let that be said. Check your I don't know, whatever registration of your items, your pieces. All right, so you fold up like this a little bit, lock in, and lay down. That's better. By the way, you do get a lot of fingerprints on this mirrored cardstock here, so go into it expecting it. If that bothers you, you know, just kind of mop off before you mail off. Okay, let's try this again here. All right, here we go, and here we go. Much better. It's kind of funny. I was looking at it, it didn't register to me. I was thinking, what happened to my, you know, cattails and reeds down there? Are they invisible? Oh, they're up here. It didn't look too bad though, but it was a little bit larger kind of reflections in that area, you know, without this right here. So anyways, look at that right there. It looks watery, doesn't it? You know, in some ways when you go like this, it kind of jiggles a little bit down here, like you're looking at a, you know, watery reflection. All right. I don't know. What do you think about the wood grain up there? I think it looks, you know, pretty decent up there. I don't know. It gives it a little bit of character. You really can't make out the wood grain in the reflection too much, though. You know, so this is going vertical here. I think it looks better probably with this wood grain going horizontal, but I don't know. I just wanted to check it out. I wanted to see if this was, you know, these kind of linear things would show up down here looking, you know, this way. But not so much, but I think it looks pretty cool. So this is like a, I don't know, 15, 20-minute card or so. Let's say 20 here. You know, I took a little bit of time to, you know, flip this back around, and, you know, I did a couple things off screen here. But I think a pretty cool formatted piece here. with, I don't know, I wouldn't say minimal effort. There's the impressions that you're laying down there. But as far as like the coloring and everything like that in there, just a little bit of colored pencil. I mean, you can bring in some browns or something like that into it. Let's do that here. And does not take a long time to do, you know what I mean? But let's just bring in some browns into this cabin. I mean, it certainly harmonizes with the wood grain paper a little bit. I'm just making my cabin sides look a little bit, I don't know, richer with a little bit of tone like that. And let's see what it looks like that. Maybe that was a little bit too much. Let's grab that black again. And here, let's make it a little bit more aged. I'll go across in here a little bit. I'm putting a little bit of shadow up on my rooftop to make it look like, I don't know, maybe it represents a little bit of shade coming from these trees down onto the rooftop. Just something like that. I think that looks pretty cool. Rooftop seems a little bit more top lit now. And I like the reflection of our figure down in that water area. And again, see this right down here, left and right corner? Left and right corner. Kind of frames off the composition pretty decently. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed yet another little experiment here. When I come across a new type of surface, I'm really curious to see different types of compositions or stamps utilizing, this type of surface in here. It's like, oh, I can't wait to see this, this, and this. What would this look like in it? So anytime, you run into kind of a situation like that when you learn a new technique or a combination of surface and media, it makes it really fun because it opens up a lot of doors with maybe some previous types of compositions, or in this case, compositions and constructions with the reflection card formatting. So yeah, just throw something like that down there where you write, to someone, love, whoever. I'd put it on the back right here. Of course, you can always sign your card on the interior too if you want to. On this one, it'd be really cool in gold pen, I think, right? All right, fun stuff. Thanks for watching.